Good day, puppy lovers. Today we're dealing with an elderly pup. So I will be shaving him down and I'll show you exactly how I get this done. I think he's having problems back here. Anyhow, we'll get through this together. So I'm going to be using a 7F blade. Some people will use a 7 skipped tooth blade, but those blades are more for thicker coats to try to get into thicker coat. But I like to use a 7 blade on all of the pups that I shave down because I think it's safer, a bit safer than the 7 skip tooth. So here we go. I'm going to start shaving the pup and I'll stop the video when I feel that I need to explain something. So in older dogs, sometimes they'll have a little more bone on their spine. So instead of bringing the clipper on top of the spine and shaving like that, I tend to pull the skin to one side and come in and shave a little on the side of the spine, pull in on the other side, and shave on the other side of the spine. Therefore, when I let go, all the top is done. And the reason why I do that is because when they're too skinny and they're older, and you're doing this on top of the spine, you're going to find yourself bumping into those little bones there, and we don't want to do that. I'm going to move on. So of course, same thing applies for some. There are dogs that are a lot more bony. And what you're going to want to do is you want to always be nice and light with how you're holding your clipper. See how I'm holding them really light, and you're just skimming the bone. You don't want to be digging into there. Okay, so I'm just skimming the bone. I like to go upwards because I feel that I can get most of this out, as opposed to if I'm going downwards. So I'm just going to go upwards, and I can get into there and get it all out. So, of course, when you're holding your clipper, you want to be skimming lightly. See all that bone here? That's hard. It doesn't have much muscle left. He's very thin. He's getting to be very frail. So this little pup is getting older. So, let's keep moving on. So you don't want to be using the shaver, a 7 blade, on the dog's anus. You're gonna, if you're to use it, you use it underneath, and you're being very careful with that. Okay. If you feel safe enough and you want to just float on top and don't touch the skin, that's another story. But there's something that I wanted to show you guys here. See, the client asked me if I would do his glands. Fine, I'll do the glands. But what I'm noticing, and I had noticed this last time, but now it's a lot bigger. Look at this. I am not a vet, but I've heard of, sorry for this, I've heard of cancers, and I don't know if this could be a cancer or if it's just a problem with his anal sacs here, but as you see, this isn't normal. See how pointy that is and how hard this is? All this area. I can feel his glands to be huge, okay? They would probably need to be extracted if it's the gland. I think it's the gland doing that, but I can't be sure. What if it's some sort of cancer or something? But I do sense that it could be the glands. I'm sensing that. But anyhow, I am not going to be touching that, and the client will be told at the end of the session about this problem that Shiro has, okay? So I'm not going to touch that. We're going to be very careful in this area. I don't know if that's a cancer or whatnot, but he is an older dog, and that's very possible. So I'm just going to move on and be very careful around this area, because this is just not normal. same thing here, right? We have an older dog, we got loose skin a little bit. So instead of going in the same direction as the loose skin, which is usually vertically like this, instead of going in the same direction, so I don't want the skin to get caught between those teeth. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go a little more in a horizontal, diagonal direction. And again, I'm holding this very lightly, and I'm not pressing at all because there's a lot of bones in there. And way too often I'll see someone using a clipper and they're coming in really hard and they'll snap and hit that bone, and that must be painful. That must be painful. So you got to be really, really careful around this area here, okay? Continue on behind the ears. And yes, I have a hair in my mouth. And yes, before washing the dog, I will, if it's a shave down, I will be shaving first. There's no reason for me to wash the dog with all that hair, dry him, and then shave him. There's no reason to do that. So, okay, so for an older dog also, see what he's doing. He might not be strong enough with his legs in the back. So instead of bringing him up and shaving from underneath, I'm going to show you how I do that. I'm going to add a little more security here. I keep putting my mask on and off, sorry for that guys, but there's a lot of hair here. Okay, so I'm just going to lift the leg for him to feel comfortable, okay, and I'm going to come in from underneath. Okay, try to get that like that. Okay, I'm doing only the legs. I'm not doing this area, his pee-pee area. That's going to be with another blade, right? I'm just taking some of that off around the legs, okay? And I'm going to come do his belly, but not around his pee-pee area here. Just a little bit of the belly. Lift up the arm, come underneath. Always going downwards when we get to the flap here on the side. This flap could easily fit between those teeth, and you don't want that to fit between the teeth because it's going to cut. So, right? So now we're going to do the other side. Little one. We'll do his legs, and we're going to go in the back. Okay? You want to sit. Older dogs like to sit. Same thing here, there's another flap. I'm not coming in. Remember guys, those teeth, you put that skin right in there, that blade is, see right there, I'm gonna stop it. right here, all of that, this darker line here, that, okay, is the blade. So if something goes inside there, and that blade is doing this, we're gonna cut it. So we don't want to cut anything. Noticing my blade is getting hot. I would either use some spray for that, or just change the blade. So I'm changing the blade. It's the same blade. Now this one's cold. So, okay. Keep doing this, and we're gonna move on. So here, you can't come in too fast here. I like to get right underneath, but here there's an extra little digit toe here. So you stop at that, and then you come around it, okay? I like to go in two different directions. Once I've gone this way, I like to come in this way, because look at everything else that's coming off. Okay? Watch the same thing on the other side. Hang on, honey. I'm going to come in this way, like that, and then I'm going to go back in this way. I get extra off, okay? Go under where that toe is. I usually go downward for the front, and then on the sides here, I'll come in like this, and just slide down like that. Try to come in different angles to make sure I get a nice short cut. Now, Shiro, sometimes lately he's been a little more cranky. Older dogs are cranky. They can be cranky. And Sometimes he'll growl or he could bite. Okay, so later I'll be using the groomer's helper for that. So I'm going to put him in the tub, and then I will come back and show you how I dry him and get the rest done. So I'll be right back. All right, guys, so I'm done washing this little pup, and I wanted to explain something here. When you do the face, it's important that, especially for older dogs, it's important that when you're drying the face, like if you're using a towel or whatnot, that you dry it and you don't press on too hard on the mouth, because Shiho's teeth are really, really bad. If you come in for a nice close-up here, you'll see what I mean. Look at this, guys. So there you go. Those are bad teeth, okay? Really bad teeth. See that? Hope you saw it. Anyhow, so there's a lot of inflammation going on in there, and we don't want to be pressing on the mouth because that would hurt their teeth. So I'm going to proceed. I'm going to dry him, as I said, lightly with the towel, and I'm going to dry him with the dryer, and I'll be back. So as you see here, he's all knotted up. So I'll attempt to use the slicker brush, a small slicker brush, to maybe come in and see if I can get some of that out. But I'm going to have to use some scissors to cut some of that out, because I'm not going to be spending like all that time trying to get into there with the brush. And I don't want to shave him either. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the other side a bit, and then I'm going to start drying him, and I'll get in there with the smaller dryer and try to dry it the best I can, and then I'm going to try to take the knots out. Okay, so I know I could have also taken the knots out before putting him in the tub, but it works for me this way for his face, so that's what I'm going to do. I am going to just brush out a little bit like that and separate the knot like that. There's so much that needs to go anyway that's going to go with the scissors. So I'm going to do that, dry him, and we'll get that area all cleaned out. Of course, I was going to forget. Before drying him, I really want to get these poopy eyes out. Look at here. Come see the poopy here. He's got a lot of yuckies in there. Yeah, honey, he's shaking. Let me get this done quick, honey. So I'm going to come in, and this was all wet out in the, when I washed him. I got it all nice and wet. And I'm going to try to pull some out, but I don't need to pull the whole thing out. I have enough space there to just come and cut it in. So I'm not going to have him stress out by me pulling and yanking on all of that hair. So we don't need to do that. So I come back in this one here. I could have done this in the tub. Yes, of course. This is where I like to do it, sitting at the table. I have my light here. And I'm just loosening the back end here to try to get some of that out, but I'm not going to try to pull it out. There's no reason to pull when I made all of that space back there. So I got more of those poopies out, see? So now that the poop is out, I'm going to come in and clean it. I'm going to use rounds, as I always do. I have these little makeup rounds here that I'm going to be using, and I'm going to use my eye cleaner and ear cleaner for his ears. So as we're doing the eyes, I'm just going to soak this up with some of this product here. And yes, he got a nice scrub done with the soap, but I didn't get the soap into the corners of those eyes, of course. That would not be very nice, huh, Shiho? So what I'm going to do here, though, now is I'm going to come in and I'm going to clean all of his eyes like that. So look at that. Yuck. Yeah. Look at that, nice and yucky. So I'm going to use both sides of the pad. We'll do the front side. See how dirty that is? And now I flipped it over and doing the second side of the pad. So all of this is going to be all dried out afterwards, and I'm going to be able to come and cut whatever needs to get cut. Over here, I'm going to use the ear cleaner in the second pad, and I'm going to use one side of the pad and clean the inside of his ear. I like to just put the product on the pad and not in the ear. Some say that it's fine to just pour the stuff in the ear, but just as water. That could get stuck in there just the same. Yes, the dogs do shake their heads, but it can still stay stuck. So that's why I like to use the pad like this. So it's pretty dirty, so I'm going to flip it around and use the other side also. If it wasn't so dirty, then I would have flipped the pad around and I would have used the same pad on the other side, just flipped around so that I don't, you know, because you never know. You don't want to cross any bacteria in there. So I'm going to do this side too, honey. Hang on. We'll get him in closer. He's shaking. All right, we're going to get you nice and dry. So I got the second ear done here, and now we're going to proceed on drying him. And of course I need to clean this area out here. So all I'm going to do is just use the comb here, the flea comb, pull that just so that I can create space, and I'm going to come cut. Some people like to use the shaver. This is just a way that I like to work. I like using the scissors. Because there was a poopy there, I am going to wash his bum with a baby wipe here. And I am not going to press because I don't know what this whole bump is here. This whole bump. Look at that. So I did wash with soap, of course, and I scrubbed. You don't? Okay, là je pense. There. All right. Clean. Now let's dry. So I am not drying his face with the force dryer. I dried him quick. That was a real quick dry, okay? He's an older dog and he stresses out when it comes to his face. When they're puppies or dogs, you know, when they're younger dogs, you'll dry them and they're a little antsy and, you know, but they have the stamina or what you want to call it. They have the that energy that they can use, right? Without being, you know, you don't want to stress them out, but when it comes to an older dog, you just got to be a little more careful. You don't want any heart attacks on the table or any weirdness, you know. Some could end up having seizures or whatnot. So when they're older, you just got to be a little slower and use different tools. See this dryer here? We'll see if he takes it. If he doesn't, I'll have to try another dryer. This dryer is a lot less loud, okay, and I'm going to use it for his face. If he's churning and churning like that a little, that's fine. I'm not bothered by it. I'm not stressed for him about it. He just doesn't like it. But if he would be panicking and freaking out, it would be a stop right then and there. I don't want his little heart to go pitter-patter. I don't want any trouble. I don't want any seizures. So I'm going to be really, really careful with how I get this done today. So I'm going to finish drying him off. Seems to be not that bad. And we'll move on. So I'm going to stop his drying right there, and I'm going to try to get into his face. We got to get rid of all of this brushing that he needs to get done in his face. So I say brushing, but I mean cutting. So I'm going to try to bring this in closer, and we're going to cut through those mats with a pair of thinning shears. And they're going to be my aggressives here, aggressive ones here. And these are 30 tooth. Okay, and I may need to use just these little snippers here. I prefer using the thinning shears because it doesn't show as much. But if I have to, I will use the other snippers, the other ones. So I'm just going to cut a little bit of this off. We got to get rid of this. His face is going to be different, guys, when we're done. But I'm trying to save his face without having to shave the whole thing. We can take some of these knots out. I always like to brush it a bit with my slicker to see what I can get done, but I pick and choose, and you got to be patient, you know. Pick and choose and see what knot needs to be taken out. Down here, often on the lower lip, there's a lot of stuff to be taken out here. Take that out. Got to be careful. This dog doesn't move. You're not holding the chin, your mouth too tight because he's got really bad teeth, as I showed you guys. And I'm just going to get in here. There's another one there. If this dog was fighting a little more, I would not be using these scissors. I would go in with these so that it can be snip and out, snip and out. And if I see that he starts getting tired of me doing this, that's exactly what we're going to do. We'll just give up and do snip and out, okay? So for now, he's tolerating it. And we're being patient. We've got all of that done down there. More of this off. Guys, I almost cut my finger there. These things cut, so you've got to be very careful. Alright, so he has some on his cheek. And the reason why I use this here is to try to make sure that I can get some of that brushing done so we can save as much hair as we can. And then I'll come in and just, I'm not pulling, I'm picking and choosing to see where those knots are, okay? So I found that knot, brushed that out. If this dog was, you know, flipping out and not wanting me to brush with that brush, I tell you guys, don't use a slicker brush around the face if the dog is not acceptant of it, because you could stab the dog in the eye. There could be an accident. See, so I got all of that out. See, I didn't have to shave. You know, I just got it out. Oops. Top part. All done. Can I see the side? Oof, he does have bad breath. Can I see this one side here? Up here. Okay? So look at what's going on up here. Try to get some of that out here. Again, we're thinning out his whole beard here. Just get rid of some of this. And we need to assess how we're going to go ahead and make that nice face, okay? That he's not completely dry. I don't want to have to be sitting there and drying him for 20 minutes because he's older and I just want him on and off the table as quick as I can. So again, here there's a lot of knotting, guys. We're going to take a lot off. And I'm just going in with the tip. And that's a big knot. Comb that out. Again, I could have done this beforehand. Could have done it before the bath. For me, before or after, the knots are coming out anyway, so. There. I'm good with it. You know, I don't mind. So I'm going to keep working on this and we'll continue. See right there, he kind of wanted to snap at the brush, so I'm not going to keep brushing. Okay, honey? I'm just going to keep taking some off with the scissors. So, my granddaughter's out there gargling something. So he's all brushed out, his face is all brushed out and snipped out. I'm gonna get rid of all of this here and making sure that he doesn't want to lick. So I'm gonna get rid of all of that. There. All right, so we're gonna move on. So sometimes he growls when I do his belly, but I think that maybe that's because, we'll see. I think that's because maybe it's because sometimes I lift him from the front, okay? So I'm gonna try to do it from the side here. Now I'm gonna do the belly with a 10 blade. And often it's best to use your shaver on a lower speed just because it's not as loud and it scares them less. He's fine with the higher sounds, but there are some dogs that are very scared of the clippers, so if you bring him on lower, you get the same job done, and yeah, the dog is not as stressed out. So this is how I'll do it from the back here, and you want to go, you know, just this much in front of his little pee-pee to make sure that that jet stream doesn't get all over his pee area. Remember guys, this is not a competition groom, competition dog. I groom our pets, home family members, and you know, these are our family members, these little pets, so that's all I'm doing. I'm keeping them clean, keeping them happy, you know, keeping them from any health issues, okay? So I'll do that, and then after that, sit him back down. Okay, you okay on your bum? Okay. Lift his leg, is he okay? I'm always going very slowly with older dogs because you don't know where they have pains, okay? And by going slow, they'll let you know if that hurts or not. Because I know that he's frail and he has trouble. So, alright, I'm going to continue. I'm going to go and prepare the groomer's helper because I have to do his nails and he likes to growl and snap. So, okay, so I'm all ready with the groomer's helper. If you've never heard of the groomer's helper, this is just another, instead of using this loop, I use this loop. It's the groomer's helper loop, and that is connected, tied to my groomer's arm here, like that. So he can't turn his head around or can't bring his head down when I'm trying to work with him. He's in no pain, none whatsoever. It's just stopping him from turning his head, okay? So I'm gonna do his nails, and I'll see how that goes, because sometimes he's not very happy. So, depending on the dog, he still lets me hold his foot back like this. But if he'd have too much trouble, I come in and do his nails from the front, let him sit down. So I'm gonna try like this. You know, maybe next time he won't let me do this, you know, as he's getting older, right? So I'm just gonna cut some of these nails like that, make it quick, guys. I don't mean to not concentrate on what you're doing. I'm just saying get in, get out. Because, see, he's okay, he can stand. I don't feel him shaking. He was a few seconds ago. But he's shaking because he's nervous, I guess. And this paw here, so he's good. He's not even growling at me this time. He's not even growling at me this time. So I'm just cutting those nails. You never know, so this is just safety here because he's tried to snip me. He's tried to bite me a few times. So we're gonna finish this off, and continue on. I am so surprised at how he didn't even growl at me or try to bite me, because usually he does, or maybe he's just getting used to the groomer's helper. I tried to take him out though, but as soon as I grabbed that, he kind of freaked. He wanted to get out of the groomer's helper. But yeah, he did a good job, and but boy, does he have bad breath. Guys, when the dogs get this old, they really smell. The mouth really smells. If the mouth has not been taken care of, it's really, really bad. So, all right, so I'm gonna give him a second shave, finishing shave with my 7F right there. Yeah, well, he shows me his teeth sometimes. I just noticed him trying to, he's making some funny faces there. So, yes, as they get older. Look at this. I want to show you guys how, look, you can see how the leg, how the muscle is all atrophied in there. There's not much left in there. It's all tiny. This whole, he's got bumps over here. That's fat. Accumulation of fat. That leg again here, and that pointy bum. This whole pointy. Yeah, I'd have that checked out. Seriously, for sure. For sure. Alright, let's move on. Quelqu'un qui. C'est un gros truc qui fait bip bip avec son gros. Son klaxon. Ben là, écoute, que t'aimes ça ou pas, ça va être là pareil. Je peux pas faire grand chose pour toi. Peut-être qu'il fait ça parce qu'il faut qu'il dise à quelqu'un qui se tasse. Je suis en train de filmer là. Je suis en train de filmer. Hey guys. Allez-y. Allez dans tes bras, là. Il est fin, Jace. Comme ça? Oui, tu le prends. Et ça. Bon, ok.
On va regarder les petits poissons. Avec ça, c'est bon?
Ouais, ben, c'est plus loin. Moi, tu peux le laisser de même. Moi, je vais le mettre plus loin un peu. Là. Je la chaîne, je prends un anneau plus loin. C'est que plus là où il y avait ton pouce. Tu comprends ce que je veux dire?
Non. Oui. Parce qu'il veut pas avec des coussins. Et pourquoi il est avec des coussins? Hey,
C'est ça, il
regarde, il met mon vélo pour les
Ok, regarde là. Go sit there parce que je suis en train de filmer. Comme ça. C'est juste ce chien-là. L'autre chien, je ne le filmerai pas. C'est parce qu'il faut que je mette une vidéo lundi. Sur mon
Tu
YouTube.
sens dessus?
Ah, mais non, c'est le même.
Ah,
C'est le même que tantôt. Tantôt, je vais en avoir un autre. Il m'en reste un autre à faire après lui.
Maman, j'ai vraiment envie de regarder la fraise, il fait beau, comme ça.
Un ballon.
Dans le
Un ballon d'exercice. Un.
Oui, un pour c'est moi, un pour c'est toi.
Ah, y a-tu un poignet, un petit poignet dessus pour le tenir? Ah, mais ça, par exemple, peut-être c'est sur Amazon, il faut le commander. On va regarder. Maman va regarder pour ça. Okay, so we've come around here where his bum is at. And remember, guys, this is, I'm not too sure if this is painful, so I could use a clipper or a shaver around this area here if I wanted to, but I like using my scissors, so I'm just going to use the scissors, pulling his little tail up. Then his tail was shaved. I'm just going to cut all around here. Not much to do in this area. I just want to be sure it's nice and clean and that he can do his little numbers. So that's all done here. Not much to say about this. We're going to move on to his face. Always remember that when you're using an adjustment comb, that you come in and go towards the muzzle and off of the muzzle. You don't want to go down into the muzzle. If you come in like that, you're always risking to get their eyes. You know, especially like with Shih Tzus, and you can get their eyes. So I'm using a 16 millimeter here, and I'm just getting some of the top part off. I'm following down away from the muzzle. I'm going to pull his hair back, his head, his skin, pull it back, and do the same thing, and I'm able to get a little more of that hair in front of his eyes. Okay, remember I'm going away from the muzzle, okay? Once I get that done, I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut around his eyes. I'm using my curves here. You can use whatever scissors you like. I just want to use my curves. And I'm using them in the contrary. The curve is coming towards me. So I'm going to cut some of that out like that. He's very, very, very patient. If he was moving around a lot, I'd probably not use these scissors. But I just love these, so I like to use them.
T'as pas serré ta bisonne?
No, pas encore. Stick
Elle
there.
peut pas l'enlever, faut que tu la serres.
So yeah, so I'm going to continue on and be very, very careful around his muzzle and make a cute little face. Alright, so I'm just going to contour his ears, and as you've noticed, I didn't give him a normal schnauzer beard. The client asks me always to keep him just like looking like puppy-like, with that smaller round face. I like to get the ears done first. so that I can come and finish this off. Sometimes I don't do the ears first, but I think I prefer that. Actually, I know I prefer that, because once the ear is shaped, then once I come in here, I'll know exactly where to finish this off. So I've given him a rounded out side here like this, rounded out all the way to the ear, going into the ear, okay? Then I'm gonna bring everything back. Oh, there's still a knot there. Get rid of everything that's in front, like that, and just round out the rest of his face, okay? So, this is our 14-year-old puppy dog that looks like a little puppy again, once again. So, there he is. Thanks for watching, guys.
If you enjoyed watching this sweet Schnauzer transformation, then you definitely don't want to miss my 7 dog grooming transformations video, where I take you through some incredible before and after moments. Be sure to check it out.